Hello amigos, Ramen coming at ya. Anything you can think of, you can create by just writing it down. That is the idea of the beloved puzzle-solving franchise, Scribblenauts. The game was born from a dream Jeremiah Slatka had, where he was solving puzzles in an Aztec temple. Jeremiah Slatka, seeing his previous idea for a Mad Lib-style game not being fully realized, he decided to combine his dream and his failed idea into something magical. That's how Scribblenauts came to be. Developed by Fifth Cell, the Scribblenaut games are fun, simple puzzle-solving games where you play as the character called Maxwell, as you use your notebook to solve puzzles, help people, and get over obstacles in your way. Anything you write in your notebook becomes reality, using the power of words. That was the idea of each game. The more people you help, more levels and challenges you unlock. The Scribblenauts franchise has evolved over time, from making your own creations, adding new characters and stories, to having the entirety of the DC universe in your hands. Each game in the franchise was unique and different in its own way. Just like Maxwell, I thought I'd take a journey through every Scribblenauts game and see what each game is all about. And by the end, understand why these games are cherished by a lot of people. So grab a pen and paper and join me as I dive into the fun, imaginative series that is Scribblenauts. The first Scribblenaut game set the groundwork for what the series will become. The first game is your very basic puzzle-solving game, but with a unique mechanic that made the series fun and creative. That be the ability to spawn whatever you can think of by just writing it down. There are limitations, of course. You can't spell bad words. Trust me, I tried. The closest thing you'll get to spawning a bad word is ass, which is a donkey, which is still pretty funny. You also can't spawn copyright characters, so for people wanting Mario to fight Shrek, or Link to fight Shrek, or Pokemon to fight Shrek, I'm on a weird Shrek kick lately, but unfortunately, you can't. While those limitations might suck, Scribblenauts has a total of 802,000 unique words that can be used to spawn objects and vehicles. The only limit is your imagination, which for Scribblenauts you're gonna need. Scribblenauts is not an open world game. It is level-to-level gameplay, which means in each level there is a puzzle that has to be solved. Some puzzles are easy, as the game will give you hints of what to spawn, but as you progress, the puzzles do get harder and harder. And I'm not lying, there are genuine levels in this game where I couldn't even think of an object to spawn and I was stuck. It does put you to the test of how many words you know and your vocabulary. After you complete every puzzle, you get a star right that do nothing. Yep, they don't unlock levels, they're not a source of currency, they're as pointless as the coins in New Super Mario on the 3DS. The star rights are easily the main objective in each level. You get the star right and the level is done. It's simple. Although I personally wish the star rights was something more like in future Scribblenaut games, but I get this is the first game. In total, there are 240 levels and star rights. The game has two modes. Puzzle mode, which requires you to spawn certain objects for star rights to appear, and action levels, where the star rights are already spawned and you as Maxwell have to get to them. Out of these two game modes, I stuck to the base puzzle mode as I felt a little more freedom in what I can spawn. The action mode is great too, but the issue is the levels themselves don't really offer much of a challenge, and they can feel rather small and cramped. But once you finish the main puzzle mode, the action mode is there, so there's more game to play. They also give you currency, which you can use to buy music and avatars, if that's your sort of thing. I stuck to my basic chicken hat protagonist the entire game. There is an advanced mode in the game which gives you different solutions for the levels you completed. I did about 10 of these to get a feel for them, and you would think playing the same level twice would suck, but coming up with new ways to complete a level felt like I was in school again, learning and finding ways to solve problems in different and creative ways. The art style for Scribblenauts, I feel, is what makes the game stand out from other DS games. It has its own charm that carries the gameplay. The objects and vehicles you spawn have their own look and textures to them. Scribblenauts art style kinda reminds me of the drawings that I used to make on my free time. There is a childlike wonder and innocence to the way Scribblenaut looks, and I think that's what made the first game such a hit. Yes, while Scribblenauts does feel limited in what you can do, there is a sense of wanting to teach people that anything is possible, and that imagination can solve any problem. I had a lot of fun solving puzzles in this game. While levels fell rather short, I love the ability to just write in anything and just making it appear out of thin air. The first Scribblenauts game is a good game. While there are limitations level-wise, I still think the first game is fun enough to keep coming back and playing over and over again. Super Scribblenauts builds upon the first game by adding new features and gameplay mechanics. One of those being adding adjectives to objects. You can click on an object you create and make it big, small, fast, slow. You're essentially making the item you created better, which is a unique mechanic that comes in handy with certain puzzles. Super Scribblenauts is just like the first game, where you go level to level solving puzzles. The only difference is how the levels are presented. They look more like constellations as opposed to the first game's generic level by level menu. The levels themselves are also not that hard, and I say they're a lot easier than the first game, and that has a lot to do with the ability to buy hints. So say for instance you're stuck on a level, well you can buy 3 hints that pretty much tells you what to spawn. This is a kid's game, so I get what they're doing. They're making sure people don't get stuck. But for people like me who like a good puzzle game, knowing that I can buy hints makes me want to use it a lot more. The hint system kind of bypasses any difficulty this game had, which is not a lot. My problem with the first Scribblenauts game were the controls. I hated using the touchscreen to move Maxwell. It felt very clunky at times. Super Scribblenauts fixes that by allowing you to control Maxwell using the D-pad, which is a welcome change as it made navigation to the game's many puzzles very easy. Speaking of that, there are a total of 121 overall levels for players to solve, plus 7 secret levels accessed via the time machine. There are less levels compared to the first game's 240, but the new mechanics and features are worth it. As I said before, I never once really struggled while doing a puzzle, except for this one puzzle where you have to give the animals their own habitat. I'm no zoologist, so I had to Google animal habitats. The hints for this level really suck. Fifth Cell really took the criticism the first game received and made mechanics and improvements that became major staples in future Scribblenaut games. The use of adjectives opened up a world of possibilities and made puzzles really fun. Super Scribblenauts feels like a true sequel that took what the first game had and made it better. With the amazing success of the Scribblenaut games, Nintendo decided to partner with 5th Cell on a third entry in the series. That game will be made for the 3DS and Nintendo's upcoming console, the Wii U. Before 5th Cell was given the prototype of the Wii U, they had an idea of making a Scribblenauts game for the Wii, but they were not successful translating their game to that system. I don't know how a Scribblenauts game with motion controls will play like, but imagine it'd be a tad frustrating pointing that cursor on the TV every time I spell a word.
Right here, I'm getting ready to serve. All I do is throw that ball up in the air, and when oh, jeez, and there goes the tennis racket.
While 5th Cell failed at putting their game on the Wii, they succeeded at making a whole new game for the Wii U, Scribblenauts Unlimited. 5th Cell really took advantage of the Wii U's tablet-like controller and implemented it as a core feature in the game. The Wii U tablet is used to create and spawn objects, solve puzzles, and edit objects. The Wii U tablet integration with Scribblenauts Unlimited felt natural. It didn't feel like an optional gimmick like most games that were on the system. Scribblenauts Unlimited evolved the mechanics and features from their first 2 games, and improved them while also adding new things to make the core mechanic, creating with words, a lot more fun. Scribblenauts Unlimited is not level by level puzzles like the previous 2 games. It's an open world sandbox where the levels are themed in the game. The game has 41 themed open world levels where you solve puzzles and help people. And by doing that, you gain star rights. But unlike the other 2 games, the star rights have a purpose. In the plot of this game, yes, this game, believe it or not, has a story, which is Maxwell's dad and mom had a lot of kids. And I mean a lot, like this entire family could get their own show if it came down to it. Maxwell, a spoiled child with a magical notebook that can create anything he writes, accidentally curses his sister Lily, and she turns to stone. And this happens after playing a prank on an old man. Hold up, that can't be the story.
12 seconds later.
Jesus! This plot's a little dark for a kid's game. I don't know what's darker, the ending for Draw to Life, or this. Don't play the clip, I'm not ready to cry or think about my life. In order to break the curse, you, as Maxwell, have to help people and collect star rights, which will in turn save Lily. After you do all that, turns out that old man was your father. Yep, he turned Lily to stone to teach Maxwell a lesson about kindness and responsibility. That dad went about it in a twisted way. So overall, the story is okay, as it gives Maxwell an incentive to collect star rights in the game. Scribblenauts Unlimited is not just a title. The game includes a large dictionary of words. It's allowed players like you and me to be creative, especially when helping people. For example, there's this puzzle in the game where you have to feed people in this restaurant. With the unlimited nature of the game, as well as the in-game hint, you can spawn things that will feed the customers. Sometimes some puzzles require applying an adjective to make something big or small, cold or hot. Helping people in this game feels a lot more rewarding than previous games, and the open world feel of the game allows for more room to move around while solving puzzles. My least favorite aspect of the DS games is that the levels felt cramped and too confined to one space. Unlimited, that is never an issue. You have the freedom to walk freely and solve puzzles in any random order you feel like. If you don't want to solve that puzzle or help anybody in the game, you can just spawn things and goof around. You can spawn Nintendo characters. You can live out your fantasies and have Mario fight Bowser or Mario fight Luigi or have Mario fight Sonic. You can even make Kirby fight Link. If you can think it, you can write it. Also, if you play the PC port, you can connect to the Steam Workshop and download other people's creation and use them whenever you like, which gives the game kind of a community aspect, which is a welcome change, as I do like games that allow people to be creative. The game has a few neat modes that I want to highlight. First being the object editor, which allows you to make your own creations. Some creations may look pure nightmare fueled, but you made it yourself, and that's what matters. You can also share your weird creations in the Steam Workshop on the PC version, and have the world comment and download what you have made. I myself use the object editor for fun, but I was not confident in any of my creations to share it. I may be smart, but I sucked at arts and crafts in school. The last feature I want to highlight is Starlight Vision. Trouble looking for the next Starlight? Well, if you enable Starlight Vision, you're able to locate a Starlight in a mission, which makes collecting Starlights a breeze in this game. Scribblenauts Unlimited is truly a work of creative art. The elements borrowed from previous games and new features and improvements make this game the complete package for anyone who wants to flex their creative muscle. The added story mode, the new characters and lore makes Maxwell less one-dimensional. He's a full-on character with motivations to do what's right and save his sister. His dad may have a weird way to instill lessons on his kids, but that doesn't take away the journey you the player will go on in this game. This game was released on both the 3DS, Wii U, PC, and mobile. I say this game is worth it if you want to relax and be creative, while also learning some new words along the way. The DC Universe has many stories and heroes that have shaped people's lives, whether it be movies, comics, or TV shows. The influence that DC characters have on media and pop culture is amazing, so it's not surprising since Scribblenauts was published by Warner Brothers that they would partner with Fifth Cell again to create a game where you literally have the power of the DC Universe in your hands. That game would be called Scribblenauts Unmasked. Just like previous games, Scribblenauts Unmasked does have a storyline that involves Maxwell and Lily, as Maxwell and Lily are trapped in the DC universe and have to find a way out by teaming up with Batman and a whole slew of DC heroes along your journey. Unmasked does change a few things, so the story feels more impactful and the missions you're doing matter by completing what this game calls Starlight missions, which are incorporated in parts of the story. Some missions will have you face against a villain from the DC universe, or team up with your favorite hero and lend an assist. Starlights are obtained after completing a Starlight mission, instead of completing puzzles, which is a welcome change. With Unlimited, I did feel Starlights were obtained rather easy, due to the puzzles not being that hard. Unmasked goes for a more linear story where the missions are mandatory to complete in order to progress and see the story unfold. And if I were you, the story in this game is well written and the outcome is worth a watch. Maxwell is given his own evil clone doppelganger that causes havoc, as he has the same powers as Maxwell, and he uses said powers to help many villains in this game, including Brainiac, who the doppelganger teams up with. The game does have a happy ending where Maxwell gives his clone his own doppel sister, they defeat Brainiac, and Maxwell and Lily are sent home. And Doppel Max and Lily help the Justice League repair the damage Brainiac did. But the big twist is that Alfred was the narrator of the entire killer story. Yep, Alfred was the one telling this epic tale of two heroes out of nowhere saving the world. That really blew my mind. In Unlimited, there was a story, but there wasn't anything connecting the missions together, besides its main objective to save Lily. Missions were a tad random, which is fine as the game is open world, but in Unmasked, the story matters as well as the missions. The game even has all the characters speak through text bubbles, which can make for interesting conversations. The dialogue for this game does give Lily and Maxwell more character than the previous games, which I do enjoy. Scribblenauts Unmasked has a few features and mechanics in this game that feel like there was some care and thought put into them. While the game does have story-based missions that earn you star rights, there's other currency in this game called reputation. And these reputation points are different for each world you visit. Reputation is earned by helping someone or by creating an object to help a hero fight in battle. These reputation points are used to unlock levels in this game. There is a penalty introduced in this game. If you use words like immortal, or if you use the same word twice, you lose reputation points. While many may see this as a stupid addition, I see it as a way for players to be more creative when spawning objects. And let's be real, being immortal in a game kinda does take away an overall challenge. So, I get why this was implemented. In the game, reputation points do matter, especially if you want to unlock more worlds and levels, in which there are two types. There are DC worlds, which like every level, you explore, complete missions, and you earn a star right. Then there are origin story levels, which are one mission levels which allow you to play through the origins of your favorite heroes. Mine being The Flash and Green Lantern. These play just like the levels in Scribblenauts and Super Scribblenauts, and they're very short. But I do commend Fifth Cell for remembering their first game and how its levels were, and used it as a template to create these origin levels. It's pretty creative. While we're on the topic of creativity, remember when I said you have the power of the DC universe in your hands? I do mean it. The game allows you to have access to the Bat Computer, which gives you the ability to summon weapons and heroes and vehicles from all of the DC universe. You can also learn about each weapon and hero and what they can do. The Bat Computer is like an encyclopedia of knowledge. I was enjoying learning about some of my favorite heroes and villains, like Fifth Cell did their research. Everything from DC is here. You can spawn any Batman, any Flash from any generation. Pretty much, if you like DC, this is your chance to have an evil Batman fight an evil Green Lantern. This is a level of creativity that I would love to see in other DC games. There's even a very intuitive hero creator mode, which allows you to make your own heroes and download others from all over the world. These new mechanics feel fresh and new, and for a game like Scribblenauts, the feeling of having unlimited access to the DC world feels like a childhood dream fully realized. The art style and background also got an upgrade from Unlimited. The backgrounds have more layers to them and feel more watercolor, and the art style feels more smooth and refined. The game is amazing to look at. Scribblenauts Unmasked is not just another Scribblenauts game. This game is a dream come true. The ability to have access to the wider DC universe is an amazing feeling. Any person playing this game will be amazed how much Fifth Cell truly cared about these characters and creating a story that highlights not only their origins, but also gives us a story that feels fresh and unique. I think any fan of any age will enjoy this game's love to the source material of the DC universe. I think any Scribblenauts fan will enjoy the fresh, original, well-written story that this game provides. With Scribblenauts Unmasked done, development was started on another game in 2014, Scribblenauts Fighting World, which was gonna be a mobile RPG for iOS and Android. But in 2016, Fighting World was cancelled, leading to the last and most controversial entry in the series, and not made by Fifth Cell themselves, Scribblenauts Showdown. Scribblenauts Showdown is a Mario Party clone. And it's not like one of those good Mario Party clones that try, like the party mode in Sonic of the Secret Rings, you know the one. The game is a Mario Party clone top to bottom. Scribblenauts Showdown is multiplayer centric, which means the minigames that are offered, which there are a total of 25, are more enjoyable with friends. Game does let you play with comms, but the minigames themselves have this weird generic feeling to them. Like they saw a couple of Mario Party minigames and said, let's do that, but with words, and make them boring. The Scribblenaut games, in a way, it felt similar to Animal Crossing where you felt a sense of ease and comfort while playing it. You can learn new words, unleash your creativity. Scribblenauts Showdown, because its focus is multiplayer centric, the game almost has no replay value. Like, the minigame library is so small that when you're playing on this Mario Party type board level, the games are bound to repeat. This game also has a sandbox mode, if you want to play a Scribblenauts game the way it's supposed to be played. There are 8 worlds to explore, which the levels do have a small amount of creativity to them, but the sandbox mode does not play like a Scribblenauts game. Finding out what characters need and want is a pain, as you can't click on them to find out what they need. Instead, you have to guess by looking at that little thought bubble that appears over the NPC's head. One mechanic that has remained consistent every Scribblenauts game was click on an NPC to find out what they want with a hint. And it's broken. Scribblenauts Showdown manages to ruin the fun of Scribblenauts open world with lackluster controls and mechanics that are fundamentally broken. Sandbox mode, which should have just been the entire game, feels more like an afterthought that was just included to say it's there, without any understanding of the mechanics and playstyle that previous games have established. There is an emptiness I had while playing this game. Without the 5th cell team, Scribblenauts Showdown feels like a soulless cash grab. There's no vision, no story. The characters have little to no personality. Like Unmasked or Unlimited or the previous DS games, the core fundamentals of Scribblenauts, unlimited creativity through the power of words. Scribblenauts Showdown feels like the inverse. It feels like limited creativity with words that have no power. Sandbox mode should not be a mode. It should be the core game. Using words for minigames seems like a creative concept, but it doesn't work for a game like Scribblenauts. If anything, the minigame should be a secondary mode included in the game, for people who want to try something new. Overall, Scribblenauts Showdown is a mistake in a perfect set of games that were known for shaping many people's childhood. Showdown proves you don't get rid of the people and their creative minds, and use their IP to destroy what they establish. Scribblenauts Showdown lacks what Scribblenauts has, which is creativity and imagination. Jeremiah Slatska set out to create a game where people can use their imagination and create whatever they want through the power of words and through the power of creativity. And he succeeded. The Scribblenauts franchise were not just games. They were, to some people like me, a way to escape, a way to express themselves. With each new entry in the series was a new way to play and create. The DS games were stepping stones of something greater. Unlimited felt like a game that truly felt like it had unlimited creativity. Unmasked was playing through your favorite DC comics in a fun way. And Showdown truly felt like something was missing, and that was the heart. The Scribblenauts series might have lost something towards the end, but the experience and those memories of playing as Maxwell with my magic notebook and helping people won't be forgotten. These are games that you can pick up and feel a sense of freedom with your creativity, and that's what Scribblenauts is all about. My name is Ramen, peace out.